Ryan, I would say, in my opinion, is plausibly the most guilty party of this entire thing.
Ryan Reynolds says Justin Baldoni can't sue him over hurt feelings.
They say the brighter the spotlight, the darker the shadow, and no one shined brighter than Ryan Reynolds.
Thesis is essentially that Ryan is actually such a good guy that he kind of had to be a bad guy.
For years, he played the perfect role, the sarcastic sweetheart, the internet's favorite husband, the Hollywood golden boy who could do no wrong. But something tragic is unraveling behind the scenes.
Mr. Reynolds was a key player in the scheme, defaming Justin around Hollywood, strong-arming WME, their agency, into dropping Justin as a client and trying to destroy Justin's career however possible.
Allegations of manipulation, bullying, and carefully masked cruelty are exploding across headlines. And at the center of it all, Justin Baldoni, the man Reynolds allegedly tried to silence and humiliate. What started as snarky humor has turned into a ruthless campaign that's leaving careers in ruins, and fans wondering if Ryan's charm was always just a performance. This isn't celebrity gossip. This is a calculated takedown, a spiraling scandal, and the possible fall of one of Hollywood's most beloved stars. And bestie, the internet is watching it all crumble in real time.
Yesterday, Ryan Reynolds filed a motion to dismiss. He wants to get out of Justin Baldoni's lawsuit in a filing that was riddled with character attacks and claims that he can't sue over hurt feelings.
Let's be clear. This isn't just messy, it's chess-level manipulation. Insiders are claiming that Ryan didn't just throw shade at Justin, he allegedly went full savage, working behind the scenes to get him dropped from WME, one of the most powerful talent agencies in Hollywood. You don't just accidentally get someone dropped by WME. That kind of move takes influence, connections, and intention. And who has more of that in Hollywood than Ryan Reynolds? Now imagine being Justin Baldoni. You're a respected actor, director, activist, and suddenly doors start closing. Projects go quiet, meetings disappear, and why? Because someone with more power allegedly decided you're a problem. It gets worse. Because according to court filings, Blake Lively wasn't just watching from the sidelines. Her name has now been linked to the alleged effort to amplify negative narratives about Justin, making it even harder for him to defend himself. That's no longer a feud. That's a full-blown power couple coming for your career.
Basically, it's fine if I called him a predator if I believe it. It's fine. And the problem is, it's like, okay, so you're admitting then, essentially, that you have called him this.
Justin didn't stay silent, and he's not holding back. He's launched a $400 million lawsuit against Ryan and Blake, and the claims are jaw-dropping. We're talking defamation, manipulation, career sabotage, and intentional emotional distress. This isn't about gossip blogs or petty drama. This is a massive legal war that's dragging everyone into the spotlight. And Ryan's response? His legal team filed a motion to dismiss the whole thing. And not just on technical grounds. They used a defense that's so petty, it's almost cinematic. They basically said, "We didn't defame Justin, we just think he's trash." And we're allowed to say that. Let that sink in. Ryan's team is arguing that calling someone a predator, a fraud, or trash is protected speech as long as you believe it's true. In other words, I stand by my opinion even if it destroys someone. And honestly, that's not just bold, that's scorched earth legal warfare.
What's going on here? What does he say? Why is he suing them?
Here's where things get real. For the first time in Ryan's career, the public isn't rallying behind him. Fans are starting to connect the dots. Has Ryan's funny guy persona always had this edge? Has his humor always been this mean? And we just ignored it because he was charming? Suddenly, those old interviews, sarcastic red carpet comments, and even his playful jabs at Blake don't feel so lighthearted anymore. They feel calculated, dismissive, mean. Social media is full of people who used to adore Ryan now saying they're reevaluating everything. Because if this is how he handles conflict behind closed doors, by allegedly blacklisting someone and mocking them in court, what else has he done that we don't know about? Ryan's reputation has always been his biggest weapon. But now, that very weapon might be what destroys him.
However, his attorney Brian Friedman has given some quotes to the press, and they were pretty scathing. I mean, you gotta admit, the guy goes hard for his clients.
On the surface, Ryan Reynolds has always played the part of the relatable, witty, no-big-deal celebrity. The guy next door, if the guy next door happened to be a multi-millionaire Marvel superhero. But as the layers start to peel back, the picture that's being painted is way darker than anyone expected. Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, is not holding back. He's calling Ryan out for what he claims is an intentional and strategic smear campaign, one allegedly designed to torch Justin's career and erase him from the industry. Friedman's words, Reynolds' fingerprints are all over this. He's painting Ryan not as the charming Deadpool icon, but as a calculated Hollywood puppet master, allegedly orchestrating Baldoni's downfall while keeping his own image squeaky clean. The guy sipping his aviation gin in a hoodie on Instagram. Friedman suggests he's the same guy pulling strings behind the scenes, using publicists, legal filings, and satire as his weapons of choice. And bestie, let's be real, if even half of this is true, we're not just talking about shady behavior, we're talking about a full-on reputation hit job.
Now here Friedman is quoted in TMZ. Let's look at what he said. Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement, extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse.
What started as a feud between two actors has now turned into a Hollywood-wide war. Baldoni isn't just coming for Ryan, he's also named Blake Lively, her publicist Leslie Sloan, and even the New York Times in legal documents. Yep, we've officially left petty celebrity drama territory and entered multi-million-dollar Hollywood firestorm. The allegation that Reynolds and his team used media connections, PR insiders, and carefully timed headlines to frame Justin as toxic, unstable, and ultimately unhireable. And let's not forget the imagery. Friedman accuses Ryan of lighting the match and now running from the flames. That's not a casual insult. That's a full accusation that Ryan started a wildfire and is now pretending to be the victim. From lawsuits to media manipulation to full character assassination, if even a fraction of this is true, Ryan wasn't defending himself. He was going on the offensive.
But Brian Freeman says Reynolds trying to skate is laughable because his fingerprints have been all over the smear campaign against Justin and the Wayfarer team since day one.
Here's where things get downright surreal. As if legal filings weren't enough, Ryan allegedly inserted a character in Deadpool and Wolverine named Nice Pool, a painfully obvious parody of Justin Baldoni. And not just any parody. Nice Pool was written to satirize Baldoni's feminist, socially conscious persona, complete with cringeworthy traits and eye-roll-worthy idealism. Reynolds' team has admitted the character is based on Baldoni, but their defense? Justin is just too thin-skinned. Let's break that down. You allegedly harass someone behind the scenes, strong-arm them out of Hollywood, and then mock them in a blockbuster film. And when they push back, you say they're too sensitive? That's not humor. That's weaponized satire. Imagine watching one of the biggest movies of the year, and halfway through you realize, wait, they're making fun of me. Not in a jokey, lighthearted way. In a full-blown character assassination dressed up as comedy, Ryan claims it's all part of Deadpool's brand, nothing is off limits. But now people are starting to ask, at what point does edgy stop being funny and start being cruel?
He adds, after lighting a match, Mr. Reynolds now seeks to run from the flames. It won't work.
And here's where it's all catching up. Ryan's legal team may be fighting back in court, but online, he's losing ground fast. The Deadpool-style sarcasm, the cocky comebacks, the quippy I don't care attitude, it's starting to wear thin. Because now, instead of looking cool, it's looking like a cover-up for real manipulation. People are questioning everything, from his motives to his methods. If he's willing to mock Justin in a global film release while allegedly sabotaging him behind the scenes, what else is he hiding? The guy who once dominated social media is now getting dragged on it. Fans are pulling up old interviews, dissecting how he talks about Blake, pointing out moments that once seemed harmless but now feel like red flags. And it's not just the public turning cold, industry whispers are starting to spread. Directors, producers, brands, they're watching. Because once the funny guy stops being funny, he's just another man with too much power and too little accountability.
But Friedman says Reynolds trying to skate is laughable because his fingerprints have been all over the smear campaign against Justin and the Wayfarer team since day one.
At first glance, Ryan Reynolds' Nice Pool character in Deadpool and Wolverine might have seemed like just another edgy punchline in his usual sarcastic style. But for Justin Baldoni, it wasn't satire. It was personal humiliation broadcast to millions. This wasn't a vague jab or a subtle Easter egg. This was a direct parody of Baldoni's public persona, the soft-spoken, woke, emotionally intelligent feminist man. And Reynolds didn't even try to deny it. His legal team admitted the character was based on Baldoni, and then had the audacity to say Justin was just being too sensitive. Let's get one thing straight. Justin Baldoni has built his entire image and career on advocating for modern masculinity, on being the opposite of toxic. So imagine watching one of the biggest films of the year and seeing yourself turned into a joke by one of the most powerful men in the industry. To Justin, this wasn't about ego, it was about integrity. His carefully crafted image was reduced to a punchline, and the world was expected to laugh. Instead, he sued, and that was just the beginning.
I want men, first of all, I want men to stop asking the question, why do women stay?
Yeah.
I want men to take accountability. I want men to hold other men accountable.
Up until this point, most of the drama centered around Ryan and Justin. But when Blake Lively entered the chat, everything changed. Blake wasn't just a bystander. She wasn't just Ryan's wife or Justin's co-star in It Ends With Us. She was a direct participant and, according to her, also a victim. In a shocking twist, Blake came forward with accusations that Justin Baldoni had sexually harassed her during production. And not just that. She also claims that after she distanced herself, he used his PR team to smear her name in the press. That's not drama, that's scandal on fire. Her words added a whole new layer to the situation. Now, this wasn't just about jokes and power moves. It became about safety, violation, and targeted revenge. And the timing? Absolutely lethal. The moment Blake made her statement, public sympathy tilted fast. People who once viewed Justin as the underdog started questioning whether his whole feminist good guy image was just another Hollywood mask.
As we reported, Ryan filed the dismissal docs Tuesday, calling Justin thin-skinned for complaining that so-called nice pool character from Deadpool and Wolverine was mocking him.
Here's where it gets messy. Because Blake's accusations didn't just stand alone, they directly reinforced Ryan's narrative. Remember, Ryan is being accused of leading a calculated smear campaign against Justin. But now, with Blake coming forward, his actions suddenly seem less like bullying and more like protecting. Was Ryan actually out for blood, or was he a husband trying to defend his wife from a man who allegedly crossed the line? Twice? On the surface, it looks like loyalty. But dig deeper, and some critics are pointing out something way more strategic. Ryan used Blake's pain to double down on his own legal defense. He's standing by her, yes, but by doing so, he's also shoring up his own case, his own reputation, and making Justin's lawsuit look even more fragile. It's the kind of move that's equal parts heroic and opportunistic. Is that love? Or is that image management at the highest level?
And then they say, well, even doing that, he's just thin-skinned for complaining about it.
Now, let's zoom out and look at the real tension. Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively were both seen as modern Hollywood role models. Justin was the man challenging toxic masculinity. Blake was the strong, sharp, no-nonsense queen who always held her own. So when she accused him of inappropriate behavior, that flipped the script. Suddenly, Justin's TED Talks and woke Instagram posts are under the microscope, and fans are asking, was it all performative? On the flip side, Blake's own reputation isn't squeaky clean either. Some critics say her timing feels calculated, coming right when Ryan's in the thick of a lawsuit. The public is stuck between two polished public personas, and now both are cracking. Is Justin a fake feminist who weaponized his brand for power? Or is Blake using serious allegations to silence a man who threatened her and her husband's image? The internet can't decide, and neither can Hollywood.
No, it wasn't just the so-called. He confirms. They say they don't dispute that the character was based off of Justin Baldoni. It was essentially Justin Baldoni. And so Ryan Reynolds admits this.
This entire saga isn't just playing out in courtrooms. It's dominating headlines, Twitter threads, Reddit posts, and gossip columns. Blake and Ryan's legal team is painting Baldoni as manipulative, predatory, and vengeful. Meanwhile, Justin's team is calling them elitist, vindictive, and power-hungry. And the fans? They're exhausted and obsessed at the same time. This isn't just a feud anymore. This is the breakdown of trust in celebrity branding. We were sold perfect images, inspiring messages, and healthy masculinity. But what we're getting is lawsuits, backstage bullying, and viral PR warfare. At this point, it's no longer about who's right or wrong. It's about who's better at playing the Hollywood game.
Reynolds, who is married to Blake Lively, was accused in the lawsuit of mocking and bullying Baldoni by using the character of Nice Pool in Deadpool and Wolverine to satirize Baldoni's woke feminist image.
What started as a harmless parody has now completely detonated the public image Ryan Reynolds spent over a decade building. The nice pool character wasn't just a one-liner or a visual gag, it was a full-on mockery of Justin Baldoni's identity, career, and everything he stood for publicly. Ryan's team has stopped short of denying it. In fact, they've leaned into it, calling Justin thin-skinned and overreactive. Classic gaslighting language that's all too familiar in situations where power is used to humiliate, not entertain, but bestie, let's call it what? It is weaponized comedy. Because when a global superstar uses a multi-million-dollar superhero film to tear down a peer who can't fight back on the same stage, it stops being funny and starts looking like bullying in 4K. And the audience, they're seeing it, they're calling it, and they're no longer clapping.
All hell broke loose. She claims he sexual harassed her, and then by the time they premiered the movie, they weren't even speaking to each other. She made him stay in the basement, and Ryan Reynolds turned on him too. And then she claimed that he unleashed a bad PR campaign.
Now, let's talk about the timing. Blake Lively's accusations against Justin Baldoni landed right after he filed his lawsuit against Ryan, and people noticed. Was it a genuine moment of her finally speaking her truth, or was it a perfectly timed counterattack meant to discredit Justin before he had the chance to win public support? That's the question no one can answer. And that's exactly what makes this phase of the drama so dangerous. Because now we're not just talking about legal filings, we're talking about alleged abuse weaponized as leverage in a celebrity power struggle. Some believe Blake was reclaiming her voice. Others say she was handed a script and told when to deliver her lines. Either way, the moment she stepped into the fight, the tone shifted from feud to scandal. And it's no longer about who's guilty, it's about who's playing the game better.
She brought the suit, and he's got to defend himself. And there's some very serious allegations being made against him and Wayfair for harassment.
Ryan's entire defense is built on one thing. It was just a joke, but that line has worn thin. Because when you're calling someone a predator, humiliating them on screen, getting them dropped from agencies, and allegedly rallying a smear campaign, the joke's over. Satire is supposed to punch up. But when you're Ryan Reynolds, a literal media empire, and you're mocking someone with less influence, less reach, and less power, you're not punching up anymore. You're punching down. The irony? This entire meltdown may have backfired spectacularly. Instead of burying Justin Baldoni, Ryan's actions have dragged his own name through the mud, and now he's the one being labeled the bully. And let's be honest, Deadpool doesn't look so cute when the mask slips.
And with Ryan, who had called this shot, that it was very obvious now that we know his brand of narcissism. I feel like we all deserve like PhDs in psychology by the end of this.
Forget courtrooms. This battle is being won or lost online. Social media has turned into a war zone, with fans divided between defending Ryan's freedom of expression and dragging him for being, well, a petty egomaniac. The moment people realized Nice Pool wasn't just a random character, but a thinly veiled jab at a real person going through real legal battles. The mood flipped. Ryan's usual cool dad energy now comes off as cold, calculating, and desperate to stay in control. And that's the ultimate loss, not in court, but in credibility. Because once people stop rooting for you, it's over. The media will shift, brands will reconsider, and fans will unfollow. One day, you're the most beloved face in Hollywood. The next, you're just another guy who flew too close to the spotlight and got burned.
100% Ryan was the one who put this line in here. Not SNL, not Tina Fey, not Blake Lively, but Ryan.
So, what's next? Ryan Reynolds has built an empire, not just in movies, but in business, marketing, and branding. But that empire is built on one thing: likability. And if this scandal has proven anything, it's that likability can vanish overnight. With mugsies, every sarcastic legal filing, every PR spin, and every cold dismissal of someone else's pain, Ryan is reminding people that the version of himself they loved may not be real, and that's the real danger. Not lawsuits, not movie flops, but the slow, steady realization that your favorite celeb might have been playing a role this whole time. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni, while bruised, might actually walk away from this looking more authentic, more vulnerable, and more human. And in this media era, vulnerability wins. Ryan, he might win the legal battle, but he's losing the public war. So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell so you'll be the first to get notified about the latest drama.